Welcome everybody. My name is Eric Albert and I'm with Allterra Tech. Thanks for joining us for part 2 of my truck build series, showcasing our signature unit here, the OV1 Basecamp from Allterra Tech. What we're going to be discussing here today is a little bit of some of the accessories that we carry with Allterra Tech. Not our complete line, but the ones that I've kind of incorporated within my build. As well as some of the modifications that I've done to accommodate to my personal needs. And we're also going to demonstrate how we set up our shower. So yeah, let's get started. So basically, Allterra Tech, we carry a complete line of accessories for overlanding. Anything from showers to awnings to, camp mattresses to ladders, a variety of different things. So we're just going to go over a few things of what I actually have on my unit, and some of the things that I recommend that you should probably have as almost like a standard accessory. So we'll start at the front of the unit here. And so what we have here are what's called drip trays. So we actually designed these drip trays, and the reason we have these in place is that what happens is when there's rain on these rooftop tents, they have a tendency to kind of collect in these channels, and then it ends up falling within your door when you open up your door and it's raining. So nobody really likes that. So these drip channels basically divert that water to the top of the truck and then sheds it towards the back of the truck. So those are a really nice accessory to have, especially if you're in rainy climates. So going further, we have our shower unit, which I'm going to demonstrate a little later on in the video, but this is an encapsulated deluxe shower unit that we have. We also carry them in basic. But I'll show you the differences between the two here in a moment. So, as you can kind of see on the top, we also have roof racks, and what I've done here is put on a few little added connection points for my paddles. You could put a variety of different things up there. Great for stand-up paddle boarders that have those long paddles, hard to place anywhere. You can just put them up there, put your stand-up paddle board up there, you're good to go. The racks up here are rated for about 150 pounds static weight, so we don't want to put anything more than that on there. And that can usually, you can usually put a couple kayaks on there, a couple stand-up paddle boards, things of that nature, and it should be pretty good. So going further down the rest of the unit here, we have these latch covers. Now this is an accessory that we sell. They're fairly cheap, but I highly recommend you have these. Now, what they do is basically it's just a plastic cover that covers your main latches. We have 2 latches on each panel. So we have 3 panels, so you'd want to have 6 of these latch covers. And so that just protects your latches from getting full of grit and sand and salt, and especially moisture. Because if you get a little bit of moisture in here and it freezes up in the wintertime, you're going to have a hard time opening up your panels. So these are really nice, almost a necessary accessory that you want to have on your unit. So going further, we have from Allterra Tech, we have these little hangers that we put up on the top of the unit here, and these hangers are for a ladder. So I have a ladder. I prefer to use the ladder to get into the tent, and it just literally just locks onto here, provides a nice solid support for going up and down the ladder. It's not going to shimmy or shake out of the way. You want to have a secure point there that way. So yeah, and I mean, there are a ton of other accessories. I've got another link I'm going to put in the description here. We have a affiliate that works with us. His name's Johannes, and I'll put a link to his video, and he goes over a few other accessories that we carry within our Allterra line. But these are the things I kind of have on mine. Another accessory that I have on my unit, which I discussed from the previous video, is that I have a 270-degree awning, and it goes all the way over the passenger side of the truck so that it kind of covers that social side, right? I've kind of decided that that passenger side is my social side, and this side is going to be more of my functional side, where I would have my shower, a little bit more of a privacy area, and that sort of thing. So the awning is on that side, and these awnings are great. I mean, we have 6.5 foot and 8 foot lengths in diameter, and they're 270-degree awning. And we have LED light stripping throughout the ribs of the awning, so it gives a nice ambiance. And actually, it's quite surprising how much light you get during the evening. And really, all it is just a battery bank you plug into a USB, and it provides all that power, and it will last a long time on those little battery banks. So something to consider if you're looking to have some shade. With the awnings, we do carry them with, and we'll sell them with the poles as well to give it a little more structural support. But the awnings on their own can hold their weight pretty well. So, but of course, if it's going to be a little windier or you want a little bit more height, certainly put the poles in there. Kind of extends that height a little bit. It provides a little more stability. So, something to consider. All right, now modifications. Now, as Overlanders, we all want to do something different than the other guy, right? We want to be a little bit different than the other guy, and it's kind of almost like a showpiece, right? When we get together at these little events, it's kind of like, hey, check this out. And you're like, oh, that's really cool. I might do that in my build. And that's the fun part about these communities, right? It's kind of seeing what other people are doing on their builds. So modifications are a big thing. Now, disclaimer. When you do a modification on these units, you have to understand it's probably going to affect your warranty on these units. Now, these units, we actually provide a 2-year limited warranty on a lot of these overland campers. It's usually about a 1-year limited warranty. So we actually extend it to a 2-year. But understand that as soon as you make a modification on these units, it's going to be a bit of a touch and go when it comes to your warranty, okay? So as far as the modifications, what I've done first of all is I'd like to have power on the outside here because I plan on having a diesel heater and I want to control it from my switch panel. So I've actually put some electrical connections out here to accommodate to that. So I have a little 12-volt cigarette plug-in in here, so I can actually have direct power to my Blue Eddy Apex 300 that I have inside. So I've wired it through, it goes through a switch panel, and I can control the power that comes out to the side of the unit. So I basically drilled a little hole through here, put it in, and then did all the wiring to that unit. This is actually a water port. You can actually see a little bit of water came out there, but basically this is where we connect our shower unit to the main water tank. I actually have a 17-gallon water tank inside here that I use a Joolca Hottap V2 to actually pull water from, and there's a water pump in here. So basically it just pulls the water from the water pump, comes out here, will heat up to the shower unit, and I'll demonstrate that in a little bit. These little clamps here are basically just Amazon little C clamps that will actually accommodate to a Milwaukee packout. So I actually lined them up so a Milwaukee packout can lock onto here, and I'll show you why in a little bit. So that's what these are. Put a little handle up here, just came off of Amazon, just nice little easy little step up to get up onto the roof. Allows you to kind of strap things down onto the roof as you want, as you need to. All right, so that's what I've done as far as the outside modifications on the truck, but let's check out what's inside. So as I mentioned before, I have my social side on the passenger side, and I have my functional side on the driver's side. So on this side, basically this is kind of like my overlanding side, right? So I've got my air pump that I have here, just a little DeWalt air pump, fire extinguisher. I've got my jumper cables, I have a shovel, I have an axe, and this is where I store my ladder when it's not in use and hooked up onto the top of the truck here. So, and then over here is actually the water pump that I have, and then the switch panel where all that wiring gets put in. So, and that's pretty much what I have on the inside as far as my modifications. And I just made a wall that kind of separates that social side versus my functional side. And I actually have a lot of space down here to throw things like, a little step stool or some ropes or some cables or a hose, those sorts of things, those loose items that we always find, right? Great little place just to tuck down there, out of sight, out of mind. It looks nice and clean, really good. So now we're gonna go over our shower system. So with the shower system, there's two pieces to this. We actually have the shower enclosure, actually the privacy tent we call it, and this is the Deluxe privacy tent, which I'll demonstrate here in a moment. And then we're going to be hooking up the Joolca Hottap onto this system and kind of show you how it all kind of integrates with itself. All right, so what I've decided to go with for my shower system is the Joolca Hottap. Now, this is a great little system, which I'll show in a moment, but the more important thing is I want to show you how I've mounted this. So I put it on a Milwaukee pack-out, almost like a workbench, they call it, I believe. And you know how I like Milwaukee, but the nice thing about these things, it's so easy to connect. So as I mentioned before, I have these cleats in place. And literally, the way to set up is just line up the cleats. Lock in. That's simple. Super, super easy. So Joolca comes with this nice cover, so just to protect the unit itself, and it also becomes completely removed. So nice little unit. Now there's 3 ports on the Joolca. We have one for the cold water that will be coming in from the inside of the truck. We have the hot water that once it gets heated up in here will go towards our shower. And then we have a port here which would be connected to a propane tank. And then you control the heat and the flow with the 2 knobs here. It's really, really easy. So we'll come back to this and how this sets up in a moment, but we're going to look at the actual shower system. So this is the Deluxe privacy tent. The Deluxe privacy tent comes with a waterproof flooring, little mat that goes on the ground. So you can put that down so it's a nice little area to step down on. It kind of protects your feet from getting dirty. You'll also notice that there's a USB connection because there is an LED light in here, which is pretty awesome. Now, we just got to disconnect a few straps here. And this whole thing will roll right down. Just that simple. Inside here, there's a couple more straps just to undo, and that will take care of the arms that come out to provide the enclosure. And you notice it's a little folded up here. It just folds out, separates, and there you go. Pretty nice and neat. As you can see at the base here, we have some connection points that you can put stakes to the ground so that it prevents the enclosure from getting blown away. And then you have an entry right here with the zipper. And that will give you into your shower unit. These shower units, well, it's actually what we call a privacy tent, but serves quite a few purposes. For me, as a kayaker, when I'm at a parking lot, I don't need to be flashing everybody in the parking lot, right? So this literally took me, what, 15 seconds to set up? This provides me a little privacy area to get into my wetsuit, get changed up, and then it's just as quick to put it away, right? So it's a nice little privacy enclosure to do some changing. So it's great for surfers, great for, you know, kayakers, people are stand-up paddleboards, want to get into their bathing suits, perfect little area. Also, it's a really good area to put a porta potty. So if you have those little, you know, camping porta potties, great little place, now it becomes your bathroom, right? So perfect little thing. And of course, the last bit is your shower. So you can just come in here. Also, these units actually have a cover that goes over top, so people can't be looking down below from above with a drone or anything like that. So it gives you some privacy up there as well too. So with the Deluxe model, you'll have that top, you'll have the bottom, right? And the LED light stripping. The basic model just comes with just the enclosure itself. Okay. All right, so as I mentioned before, I'm using the Joolca Hottap, and I found this unit just to be just top notch for what I needed. And as I mentioned before, I created this little water port in here. So this is an Aquaphor, I believe. I'll put a link in the description below where I got this unit. But basically this is attached to the door. And as I mentioned before, I have it plumbed from a water tank to the actual water pump. And then that line gets fed over and then through the door and then to this point. So as I mentioned before, I had to make a modification to the door panel, and I had to drill a hole to accommodate to this port here, which will then accommodate to this little pigtail that goes into the Joolca Hottap. So I will put a description below as to where I've got this connection, and you can just purchase it from that vendor. So, but basically all it is just a bit of a 180-degree thread that kind of connects in here, and it's got some O seals, and it just goes in and locks in just like that. Okay, and I can shut off the water if I need to. I just keep it open. But then these Joolca Hottaps have these nice little quick connects. You literally just put it in and give it a good connection, and that's it. It's really that simple. So now that we have cold water coming into the unit, right, we'd want to have hot water coming out of the unit. So then we're going to connect the red hose into the red connection port. And then we just take this, I guess, shower head, I suppose, and you can just set it up in the shower as you need to. So this is also really good for people who have mountain bikes who are driving down a lot of dirt roads. You don't necessarily actually have to have it connected right to the Joolca to get water flowing and actually start pushing water onto your mountain bike and kind of clean it up before you go out. So nice little add-on that I like to have. Also, especially if you have dogs and they have dirty feet and you don't want them to get into the camper, you can clean them off before they go for the night. So nice little add-on here. So, and as I mentioned before, the third connection would be hooking up to your propane tank. And you just turn on your propane tank, and there's an igniter that's inside here that recognizes when the water flow comes through, it kicks in its heating element, heats up the water, and then you would be getting pretty warm water coming out here, and you can adjust your water temperature here. So for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to show kind of what that kind of looks like as far as the water flow. And yeah, you would just pretty much just hook it up into your shower, and that's pretty much about it. So I have a little water pump switch back here that I'm just going to connect on, and you can hear that water flow going through. It's going to be a little bit of leaking here and there. Then pretty much have running water. And you can adjust your flow rate. It's not too bad. You know, you're not going to have a super high pressured shower, but it's enough to get clean and clean your mountain bike or whatever you need to. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for my setup on the functional side of my truck. Hope you enjoyed the video. We're going to be doing a third version of what we're doing here. Let's turn this off here. Yeah, and we're going to do part 3. Part 3 will be focusing more so on the tent portion of the truck, going over some of the accessories you can get with the tent portion, and some of the things that we like to highlight that we've changed over the iterations of these tent models. There's a lot of things that we've gotten feedback from clients that's like, we want this change, we want that change, and we make the changes to accommodate to their needs, and it makes sense, right? So your feedback is incredibly important for our development and our product modifications to make sure we have the best product for you guys. So if you have any questions, please contact us at allterratech.ca. Yeah, tune in, subscribe, like the video if you do like it. Great, it'd be great if you could like it. And yeah, and then stay tuned for part 3. And I think I might put a part 4 on here to kind of describe all the little knickknacks that I kind of carry and my creature comforts. Yeah, I know I like my creature comforts, but not everybody is on that same page. But you know, whatever. I figured I'd put a 4th video in there for you guys that you might want to check out. So anyhow, thanks again, guys, for tuning in. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. We'll talk to you soon.